Didn't know when to start recording, but there's just more and more and more, so I figured I'd start recording now. Trump took some questions, and Dementia Donnie is genuinely, like, fading. He's fading away. He's like, oh, I don't even know what this Israel conflict's about. Nobody does, you know? What? And also, we got CNN on the ground in Tehran. You know how insane that is? And there's a massive protest in Iran. The Iranian people are uniting. The Arab world is uniting. Like, I unironically think that Trump is uniting every sector of the world against us and Israel, of course. Like he united the Asian world because of these tariffs. He's uniting Europe because of the tariffs and his threats to withdraw from NATO and to stop funding Ukraine, right? And now he's uniting Africa by accepting all the ancestors of the slavers, the white Afrikaner, and now he's uniting the fucking Arab world against us. We gotta watch a lot of this. The first thing that I want to do before we do anything is play my favorite clip.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only...
Ain't that the fucking truth? I couldn't have said it better myself, Donnie.
way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran. Now, I'm more militant and more militaristic than the
I'm a big, strong alpha.
president. I believe in strength. But to start a war in order to get elected, and I believe that's going to happen, would be an outrage. Our president...
All right, so before we dive a little bit deeper in here, let me just remind you, hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. This is the Valenti VOD. If you're new here, I'm a douchebag. I'm from New York. I majored in history. I minored in political science. I'm a socialist, and I fucking hate fascists. I really want to have a family, but I refuse to raise them in a fascist authoritarian regime, which seems to be what the United States is turning into. So, I'm gonna use my strength in here to try and change the world. Vote Zoran if you live in New York City, you fucking piece of shit. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me tremendously. On top of that, if you want to help the channel financially, because this is real independent media and I have no funding, you can help me out by becoming a patron on Patreon for $2, $5, $8, whatever the fuck you want to give me. I really appreciate that. And you can become a member here on YouTube for $5. Both of those, Patreon and member, that'll give you access to the Valenti Bro Show and the Valenti Show. Two great shows, mind you. You can also hit that thanks button if you want to tip. You could buy merch. You could use a 40% off discount code for the Vantage subscription on Ground News. That's in the description below. And other than that, you know, just fuck me, you know. All right. So let's get to this interview that Trump did. What? All right. Rwanda! Let me turn up the volume. Not me, because I'm so loud.
You know all about Rwanda and
I want to play that again.
Rwanda.
Rwanda!
You know all about Rwanda and the Congo will be doing a peace settlement, probably coming in on Monday or Tuesday. We're going to be signing it up, and we've stopped a very vicious war. So that was an honor for me to be.
There is no fucking shot he stopped the war in Rwanda and the Congo, the genocide going on. I don't buy that for a fucking microsecond.
Involved. I want to thank J.D. Vance for a great job, and also our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has done a fantastic job.
Little Marco.
So Rwanda, long-term war with the Congo, a very bloody war. They're all bloody, but this was a really bloody one. Is going to be making peace with Congo, and they can get on to making trade deals with the United States and other places and have a much more normal form of life. We're very honored by that. As you know, we did a very great job with India and Pakistan.
He did absolutely nothing. Both of those nations came out, both of their leaders, and were like, Donald Trump did nothing between us in terms of the negotiations, the peace talks. And these are two nations that fucking hate each other, and they both came out and were like, no, you didn't.
And we had India in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with India. And we had Pakistan in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with Pakistan. And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Dude, he's making a deal with Pakistan. Meanwhile, we're best friends with the Israelis. And the Pakistanis just said that they were willing to nuke Israel if Israel nuked Pakistan. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, make a decision, dog. Who's on our
Serbia,
team?
Kosovo, likewise. They've been fighting for years. And as you know, we brought that one to a conclusion. And now we have a couple of big ones. We have Russia, Ukraine, which is making a little bit of progress.
They're not making any fucking progress. They're not making any fucking progress. You did not just say that? I'm American. It's not a slur over here. Don't worry.
We have Israel, and nobody really knows what that one is all about. We're going to find out pretty soon, I guess.
Mr. President, the Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make...
Period. No, period. Absolutely. If Trump genuinely was like a peaceful dove and he wanted actual negotiations, he would say, listen, Netanyahu, you got to stop the bombing for 48 hours so we can negotiate. Because who the fuck is going to accept a deal? You don't negotiate with terrorists. That's what we always say. So how the fuck do you expect them to negotiate with us while they're getting bombs dropped on their head? What's up, Chad? I just left my uncle's funeral. That fucking blows, dude. Tell him I said, yo, fucking, that sucks.
Make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens.
Wait, I have to play that back again. What the fuck did he just say? Did he say, like, it's really hard to negotiate with people when they're winning?
That request right now, if somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing.
Art of the Deal? The Fart of the Steel, Donnie. You wrote the book, right? Right. No shot he wrote that fucking book. But brother, what? Is this why you can't make a deal in Ukraine because Russia's fucking winning?
But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, what was the thought process behind the 2-week timetable?
Just time to see whether or not people come to their senses.
Bullshit. He said 2 weeks because he's always said 2 weeks. 2 weeks for the tariffs. We're going to pause the tariffs on China. 2 weeks. 2 weeks for a deal with Ukraine. 2 weeks for a deal with China, Taiwan. 2 weeks for fucking everything. This motherfucker is obsessed with Fortnite. 2 weeks? That's a fortnight. Yo, what if King Dolan cranks 90s and bops 210s? That'd be unreal. Oh, I'm cranking 90s. Melania, shut up.
Europeans help at all in talking with the Iranians?
No, they didn't help. No. Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us.
Again, another lie. The Iranian foreign minister, we covered this live. He said he is not going to negotiate with anybody as long as there are bombs dropping on Iran. So what are we talking about?
Europe is not going to be able to help in this one.
20 years ago, you were skeptical of a Republican administration that attacked a Middle East country on the idea of questionable intelligence of weapons of mass destruction. How is this?
So he's talking about in 2005. This reporter is saying, hey, back during the Iraq War when we were, searching for these fucking WMDs that Saddam Hussein apparently had, and we never found them because there weren't any WMDs. You were against that. You said, like, why are we going to a war in the Middle East in the sandbox to go find weapons that don't even exist? That's what he's asking. Now watch.
This moment different with Iran?
Well, there were no weapons of mass destruction. I never thought there were. And that was somewhat pre-nuclear. There was a nuclear age, but nothing like it is today.
That was somewhat pre-nuclear. He's talking about the year 2005. Somewhat pre-nuclear? In the year 2005, brother? So what? The Cold War just didn't exist? The threat of Russian bombs didn't exist? The atom bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? The Tsar Bomba? The fucking... The Marshall Islands? Like, what the fuck are you saying? He's so fucking stupid. He's so stupid. Yo, Baron, if you're watching this, I don't know if you like are even allowed to watch YouTube, but bro, your dad is nuts, Baron. Get him in line, Baron. Your dad is nuts, dog.
And
Yo, Baron, do you remember when I served you a virgin pina colada at the Sawmill Pool Club? Because I do, and you seemed chill. Your dad is out of line, Baron. Your dad is out of line.
look like I'm right about the material that they've gathered already. It's a tremendous amount of material, and I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen. I was very much...
Matter of weeks or a matter of months, they're going to have a fucking nuclear weapon. I got to pull it. I got to pull up the Yuji clip. You actually met him? Yeah, dude. I went to fucking prom at Trump Golf Course, bro. My school was weird. But I got to pull this up. Netanyahu says Iran will have nukes since 1995. It's actually since like 1979, but this clip is incredible. This clip is incredible.
Nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous.
Yo, by the way, guys, I'm probably going to get copyright strike because of this, but I don't really give a fuck. That's why I rely on you guys and your grassroots donations. This entire channel is built off of, like, you guys sending me money. I don't have any workers, really. I have a manager. I have Avi, but, like, other than that, I don't really make my money off of the capitalist machine. So if you do want to support the channel, because this is going to get copyright striked.
Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
If not stopped.
I don't want to hear any of this fucking bullshit anymore from King Doland.
Opposed to Iraq, I said it loud and clear, but I was a civilian.
Thank you for the $10 donation, Chrissy. Appreciate it.
But I guess I got a lot of publicity. But I was very much opposed to the Iraq war. And I actually did say, don't go in, don't go in, don't go in. But I said, if you're going to go in, keep the oil. But they didn't do that.
Do you remember how back in the early 2000s, if you were like, you're fighting an oil war, people were like, you're an unpatriotic piece of shit. They took down the towers. Brother just said, if you're gonna go in, keep the oil.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community...
Rwanda!
Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Mr. President.
Sorry, what?
Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national nuclear weapon. Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Brother, two things. One, he's about to fucking fire Tulsi or chew her out publicly on Truth Social. But two, did you catch that he didn't know who his director of national intelligence was? Did you catch the way that he looked when he said that? Look at this. Watch this.
Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence.
He was about to say, and who's that? Oh, God, I wish that fucking reporter didn't fill it out. He was about to go, who's that?
Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Mr. President, are the Chinese in any way helping Iran at this moment? We're hearing reports of mysterious planes landing in Iran from China.
I don't know. They say...
What? You're hearing mysterious reports of planes landing in Iran from China? Hold up, wait a minute. What?
That they're there to take people out, but I can't tell you about that. I get along very well with China. Get along very well with President Xi. I like him. He likes me. We have a very good relationship. We'll see what happens. I can't imagine them getting involved.
Is this the decision that you need to make on Iran, whether to strike militarily? Is this the biggest decision?
Brother. I swear to fucking Christ, if there's some report that, like, Chinese soldiers in Iran, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I will lose my fucking mind. I won't be able to hold myself back against MAGA anymore. I will get banned again on TikTok. If Chinese soldiers are spotted in Iran, I swear to fucking Christ, I will say such heinous shit to MAGA.
You'll have to make as president?
Well, I can't tell you that. I have to see what happens. I can't, really say that. It depends what the decision is. But I wouldn't really be able to tell you that now. I'll tell you in about a year from now. Maybe 5 years or 10 years from now. You never know about decisions. You never really know.
Would you support a ceasefire while the negotiations happen?
I might, depending on the circumstances.
Would you...
Former Congressman
It's very hard to stop. I will say this. It's very hard to stop when you look at it. Israel's doing well in terms of war, and I think you would say that Iran is doing less well. It's a little bit hard to get somebody to stop.
It's a little bit hard to get somebody to stop. Could you imagine if Kamala Harris was the president and she fucking said that? It's a little bit hard to get somebody to stop. I don't know, guys. It's just a little bit hard to get somebody to stop. You're the fucking president of the United States, dog. You're supposed to be the strongest, most powerful man on the planet. And also, even before you were, you claimed you were the fucking business guru. You claimed you were the king negotiator, the art of the deal. You're fired, Donnie. What do you mean? It's a little bit hard. Shut the fuck up and get to work.
Former Congressman Matt Gaetz threw out an interesting idea suggesting that if you were to broker a deal where nuclear inspectors go into both Israel and Iran, that you could win a Nobel Peace Prize, and they might even rename it the Trump Peace Prize. Did you hear those? What do you think of that?
Well, they should give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda, and if you look, the Congo, or you could say Serbia, Kosovo, you could say a lot of them. You could say, the big one is India and Pakistan. I should have gotten it 4 or 5 times. I should get it for the, I would think the...
Wait, is he talking about getting a Nobel Peace Prize?
If you look, the Congo...
Hold on.
Deal where nuclear inspectors go into both Israel and Iran, that you could win a Nobel Peace Prize, and they might even rename it the Trump Peace Prize. Did you hear those? What do you think of that?
And they might rename it the Trump Peace Prize? Oh, God! Oh, God, dude! Oh, God, dude! Oh! Yo! What are we doing? Hold on. I gotta pull this. What do you mean? What do you mean? Fucking Christ, man. Bro, all right, hold on. Here.
Congressman Matt Gaetz threw out an interesting idea.
Congressman Matt Gaetz threw around the idea? Congressman Matt Gaetz came up with this idea. Like, dude, Congressman Matt Gaetz says, why don't we rename it the fucking Trump Prize?
Suggesting that if you were to broker a deal where nuclear inspectors go into both Israel and Iran, that you could win a Nobel Peace Prize, and they might even rename it the Trump Peace Prize. Did you hear those? What do you think of that?
Well, they should give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda, and if you look, the Congo, or you could say Serbia, Kosovo, you could say a lot of them. You could say, the big one is India and Pakistan.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, Truth is Relative just commented. Meanwhile, while all of this is happening, by the way, Trump's regime is selling our public land, our national parks, our wildlife reserves. He's selling it to billionaires, including Chinese billionaires, bro. As we speak, bro, your national parks are being sold to the billionaires so that they can have enough fucking land to create these super AI fucking mega computers that are farmed off of the blood of the innocents. Like, what are we talking about?
I should have gotten it 4 or 5 times. I should get it for the, I would think the Abraham Accords would be a good one too.
But what do you
They won't give me a Nobel Peace Prize because they only give it to liberals.
Would you support?
Didn't, like, Henry Kissinger get a fucking Nobel Peace Prize? Oh, God, dude. Oh, my God, dude.
Iran being able
Oh, my God. I hate this man.
to have nuclear, or would you support Iran being able to have civilian nuclear energy capabilities up to 3.76%?
Nope.
You know, they're sitting on the top of one of the largest piles of oil in the world. I just don't know why they need that for civilian work. You know, it's one thing for certain countries to say, hey, I want to have a certain amount where I can go nuclear a little bit because
But they're Muslims.
we need it for electricity, we need it for air conditioners, etc. But
Wait. You think you... Are you talking about a nuclear-powered air conditioner, Donnie? Huh? Why? How hot are you underneath all that fucking makeup, bro? Oh, some nations need nuclear power for their air conditioning.
when you're sitting on one of the largest oil piles anywhere in the world, it's a little bit hard to see why you need that. Yeah.
President, are you concerned that Iran or its proxies would wage terror attacks against American targets abroad if you order military?
They already said they are. They literally already said they are. Iraqi, what is it, Shia militia groups. And I believe that Iran is primarily Sunni. So, like, no. Iran is primarily Shia. And Sunni militant groups in Iraq are uniting. Like, brother, you are uniting the Arab world against us, bro. Other Arab countries are like, yo, wait a minute, dog. Like, unironically, this is so fucked.
We're always concerned about that, and we have to take them out and be very strong.
Dude, there's a fucking small version of Netanyahu underneath this fucking hat yanking his hair.
In danger talking to me right now. Do you know that? You are in danger talking to me right now. So I should probably get out of here, but...
What? So I should probably get out of here? What a fucking pussy. You
guys are actually in danger. Can you believe it?
One more.
Can you believe it? You're the fucking president of the United States. Of course.
President, is it still your expectation that NATO countries spend 5% of their GDP on defense spending?
Well, I think they should do that. I don't think we should, but I think they should. We've been supporting NATO so long. In many cases, I believe paying almost 100% the cost. So I don't think we should, but I think that the NATO countries should, absolutely.
And if a country like Spain decides not to?
Well, NATO's going to have to deal with Spain. Spain's been a very low payer. They were always a very low payer. They were either good negotiators or they weren't doing the right thing. I mean, I think Spain has to pay what everybody else has to pay. Spain has been notorious for low pay. You know who else was a low?
Brother, he's making this shit up on the fly. He doesn't know shit about Spain, bro. He doesn't know anything about Spain or how much they pay.
Payer, just about the lowest. A place called Canada. Because Canada said, why should we pay when the United States will protect us free? And they've been right about that.
ICE?
Ukraine, you've been making
ICE!
progress towards a peace deal, but I don't know if you know this, but Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo were there on the ground in Ukraine, seemingly doing the opposite, trying to provoke the Ukrainians to keep fighting. What do you think of that?
Well, we're going to see, and people have to be very careful with what they say. They got to be very careful with their mouth, because their mouth can get them into a lot of trouble.
one more. ICE.
He like, so what that wasn't for us. That was literally from Mike Pompeo. That was like, you fucking shut up. You do not talk about that type of shit. I'm the one who negotiates with Putin.
ICE has said that they're trying to arrest up to 3,000 individuals a day. There are some communities that are saying they are fearful of being wrongfully detained or separating some families, even if they're undocumented. Is the fear in some of these communities worth the deportations of these undocumented individuals, a mass deportation program?
It's a tough subject because, look, we have farmers. I love farmers. I won 80%, 85% of the farmers, and I love them, and I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers. And you could also say the leisure business.
You already destroyed our farmers, bro. You're deporting like all of these people who have been working on the farms for like 25 years, both legal and illegal. Like, what are we even fucking talking about? Plus, you got rid of that Biden era, what was it? Some sort of Biden executive order that made the federal government go 50-50 with farm gear, like tractors and shit. You got rid of that, bro.
There are some businesses where you have a disproportionate amount of people that are the people that you're talking about. At the same time, we have to get the criminals out of our country. And we're looking at doing something where, in the case of good, reputable farmers, they can take responsibility for the people that they hire. And let them have responsibility, because we can't put the farms out of business.
Let them have responsibility? Are you talking about slavery? Are you talking about ownership? What do you mean, take responsibility for the people that work for them? What does that mean?
And at the same time, we don't want to hurt people that aren't criminals. Most of the people that came in over the last 3 years under Biden, I would say probably 3.5 to 4 years, those people, you have a lot of criminals, you have a lot of, I mean, we're looking at that very closely. You've had people that have worked on farms for 20 years. It's very hard to go in there and say, you know, you're coming out. But we're going to let the farmers take responsibility. They're great people. They'll do it. They know the good and the bad. So the hard part about this is not like a normal war where people wear uniforms. They don't wear uniforms. But we have murderers that came out of the last 4 years. We have murderers. We have drug lords. We have people that we don't want to. We have prisoners. They emptied out Venezuela and many countries. They emptied out their prisons into the United States.
Oh my god, dude. I can't watch this entire fucking interview. If you want to watch the rest of this interview, go ahead. We have some other fucking things to cover, which is I just want to show you how stupid Dementia Donnie is, because this didn't get like any coverage. I watched this live during Trump's fascist military birthday party when he gave a speech to hand-picked Trump-supporting fucking bootlicking chuds. These were literally hand-picked, by the way.
D.C., you know, a lot of people said, we don't want to do that. I say, yeah, we do. We want to show off a little bit. You know, recently, other countries celebrated the victory of...
Don't worry, this is going to be worth it. This is short.
...of World War I. France was celebrating, really. They were all celebrating. The only one that doesn't celebrate is the USA, and we're the ones that won the war.
We barely participated in World War I.
Without us, you'd all be speaking German right now.
Wait for it.
Maybe a little Japanese thrown in.
What? Wrong. Wrong. Fucking dumb piece of shit. Here's another example. Come on, Fubi. Come on. Come on.
Thank you very much.
Needed that. Everybody needs to watch that a little bit. Everybody needs to watch that a little bit.
Europeans help at all in talking.
All right, now, here's the juice. Now it's going to get pretty juicy. CNN got some boots on the ground in Tehran, and this is nutty. There's a giant protest in Tehran.
CNN's Fred Pleitgen is the first Western journalist to enter Iran since this latest conflict with Israel began. He's there with our Claudia Otto. He attended a massive protest in Tehran where protesters chanted death to America, death to Israel. Fred has more from Tehran.
Massive crowds have turned out here in central Tehran to protest against Israel's strikes against Iran, but also against the policies of the Trump administration as well. Many of them were chanting death to America, were chanting death to Israel. We saw them burn American flags and burn Israeli flags.
You punch the United States and Israel in the mouth, he says. Trump, you are threatening my leader, this woman says. Don't you know my nation believes death is sweeter than honey? What do you have, Israel? He says. You have nothing. You are occupiers, unreligious. You're killing people, killing women. You kill everyone. You're terrorists.
So you can see that anger here being voiced by many of the folks who are walking here in this protest, whereas the Iranian government has said that as long as the Israelis continue their bombing campaign of sites here in Iran, there will be Iranian missiles flying towards Israeli territory. They're calling on President Trump to try and end this direct confrontation. Otherwise, they say, there could be a direct military confrontation between Iran and the United States. The Iranians say it's not something they want, but they also say it's something that they're ready for. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, Tehran.
Okay. If you can see that clip and you think those people are terrorists, you have unironically been blinded by U.S. propaganda. Now, here's the thing. It's not exactly your fault. It's Fox News, News Nation, MSNBC, CNN. You might think that these different mainstream media outlets differ and have warring ideologies. But just you wait. Every single media outlet is going to fall in line and support bombing these people who are justifiably pissed. Completely justified. There was no bombs going off in Iran until 9 days ago, folks. Israel bombed them first, illegally.
Former NATO Supreme Allied Commander Admiral James Stavridis joins me now. Admiral, first of all, what do you make of a protest like that in Iran? Obviously, the government the Iranian government wants to see people out on the streets protesting, sending a message, certainly to folks in the United States and perhaps in Israel. You had Prime Minister Netanyahu speaking directly to Iranians several days ago, encouraging them to rise up. That seems difficult, obviously, even though we know there are deep divisions within Iran during the bombing campaign. Not clear a lot of people are going to be rising up against the government. I'm wondering how important for Iran is a demonstration like that.
Whoopsie. It's important for the government, which I think you're correct is increasingly brittle, simply because of all the economic pressure the country's been under for much of a decade, as well as obvious.
Brother, could you imagine if Canada bombed the United States, right? And then the Canadian Prime Minister came on and said, I think it's time for the American people to rise up against their own leadership because this is their fault that we bombed you. How the fuck did America and Israel think that fucking the Iranians would rise up against their leadership after being bombed by the Israelis? That makes no fucking sense.
Obviously, the bombing campaign right now. But I think the West and the Israelis would be wise to look at the reaction, for example, of the Ukrainians. When the bombs start dropping, nations tend to pull together. Look at the Brits during World War II.
Look at us after we got hit in Pearl Harbor, bro. America was a incredibly isolationist country before World War II. We had just participated in World War I. We were like, fuck Europe. Let Europe fight their own battles. And then suddenly, the Japanese hit Pearl Harbor, and the entire fucking country united under taking down the Japanese, right? Little did we know the Japanese had an alliance with the Germans, and then Hitler declared war on the United States, and we got dragged into that. But
so I think there's probably a thread of sincerity that runs through those demonstrations as that population reacts in defiance to the bombing of Israel.
We're seeing diplomatic efforts going underway in Europe between European foreign ministers and Iran. Do you put much stock in that? Do you think those are important?
Bro, I can already tell. All right, here's what's going to happen real quick. Predicting it now. Somebody like Charlie Kirk, Matt Walsh, one of those fucking Nazis is going to take this screenshot or the burning American flag, and they're going to be like, is this LA or is this Tehran? Challenge level impossible. They're going to start comparing the LA riots to this shit. They're going to be like, wow, these look identical. They're going to claim that all of those LA protesters are fucking terrorists.
I think they are. Certainly the three primary actors in the drama at the moment are Iran, Israel, and the United States. But there are two other nexi of power that I think are important to keep in mind. One is Europe and the Europeans, hence the importance of these talks in Geneva. Let's face it, Europe, the second largest economy in the world after the United States collectively, stands to lose an awful lot economically. They're within range of Iranian missiles. They have a real stake in what's unfolding here. And I think they could nudge the United States toward a diplomatic solution. The other pair that we don't talk about much are Russia and China, both of whom regard Iran as an important client state.
Exactly. Dude, we're talking about three superpowers.
And both have tools they can use to try and push toward a diplomatic solution. So let's hope all of that pressure collectively somehow moves this toward.
I got no faith in King Doland. All right, the last thing I want to show you is we do have one slight piece of good news, because I'm tired of leaving you guys on bad news. A U.S. judge orders the release of pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil. Now, here's the thing. Is this good? Yes. Is this a sign of hope? Yes. Does this mean Mahmoud Khalil is coming home? No. Just because a U.S. judge orders that does not mean diddly shit. Donald Trump already violated Supreme Court orders, a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court order to bring back Gilmar Abrego Garcia. And he's been violating federal orders for a long time. But this is a good sign, okay, that at least the courts are trying. You know, is it a weak attempt? But at least they're trying. Anyway, if you're watching this live, you stay. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me immensely. And do me one other thing. Click that video right there. It's a banger, and I know bangers.